Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make your own card blanks for greetings cards in Cricut Design Space. This video comes in two sections. The first is designing your own cards, as I just said, and the second part is how you can add score lines to existing greetings card SVGs if they don't already come with one. This can be really helpful if you prefer to have a score line but you've got a design that you've bought or downloaded from somewhere else that doesn't already have one. But first, let's jump into making our own card blanks in Cricut Design Space. We're going to keep things simple for this video and do a rectangular 5x7 inch card. Go into Shapes and choose a square. And then we need to resize this so that it will be the full size of the card. Click the little padlock under the width and height boxes to open it up. And then the width needs to be double the width of your card. So 2 times 5 is 10. So my width will be 10 inches and my height will be 7 inches. So when this is folded in half, it will make a 5x7 inch card. I usually make my card bases in white, so I'm going to change this to white. Now, one of the most important things that I love that the Cricut machine can do is that we can actually do the score line down the middle. That will make it easier to fold in half once it's been cut out because we'll know exactly where to fold and it will be that little bit easier with the score line. Go into Shapes and choose a score line, and we need to make this the same height as our card, so that's 7 inches. You know it's a score line because when you click away it's all dashed. Press Select All and then Align and Center. And that will put the score line exactly in the middle of your card. However, we're not quite finished yet because if you were to click Make It Now, it's going to do the score line on a random bit of card and not in the middle of our card blank. To make it so that it knows where to score, press Select All again, and then down the bottom of the Layers panel, press Attach. Attach is what tells the Cricut where we want it to do those score lines. So now when we click Make It, you can see it's going to do that score line exactly in the middle. And that really is all there is to making a very simple card blank in Design Space. But if you want to, you can add a couple of extra layers. I like to make some matting and layering to go on the front, and that lets me use some different bright colours of card and also gives whatever I'm putting on the front of my card a little bit of extra colour behind it. I'll make mine 1/2 inch smaller on each side, so that means my width becomes 4.5 and my height becomes 6.5. It's important to type both of those numbers in with the padlock open because otherwise if you close it then it won't take exactly 1/2 inch off of each side. It will change the second side in proportion rather than doing that same amount, which means you won't get the same sized border on all your edges and it just won't look as pretty. I'll make this a nice bright colour, and now I want another layer to go on top. So with this selected, I'm going to press Duplicate, and I'll make this white again. And now I want this one to be 1/2 inch smaller again. Open up the padlock and type in 4 width and 6 tall, and then that would be another layer which I can stick on top. So I've added those extra details onto my card, and then whatever I wanted to put in the middle could go on here. And I just really like this as a way to add some detail and also to bring the eye into the middle of the card for whatever your main focus is going to be. And that, in a nutshell, is how you make card fronts and card blanks in Cricut Design Space. Let's move on to part 2, which is adding score lines to existing greetings card SVGs that don't automatically come with one. Here's a layered greetings card, which is one of the designs from my SVG shop. If you'd like to get this design, I'll leave the link in the description of the video. You can see down the right hand side that all of the different layers are all there. However, the base card doesn't have a score line on it. I don't do my pre-made cards with score lines simply because you can't tell Design Space when you're loading in an SVG that you want a particular line to be a score line, so it would load in as a cut line, and I don't want my customers to accidentally cut random lines on their projects without realizing that they had to change that layer to a score layer. So to make it easier, I leave them off completely. However, I know it can be easier to have score lines on those base cards, and I tend to always put one in manually if I'm making any one of my designs. So I thought I'd do a super quick little video to show you how you can take the score line information from part 1 of this video and add it to an existing SVG like this daffodil card. All the layers are grouped at the moment. If I scroll up to the top, you can see it has a name here, and then I can press ungroup to separate them all out. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the layers panel and then find the base card, which will be the very bottom one, and hide it by clicking the eye next to it in the layers panel. Now I'm going to regroup all of the front bits of the card so that I don't accidentally move or resize anything. Press select all at the top and then group. And then I'm going to hide this group by clicking the eye next to it and close it up by pressing the arrow. Turn the base card back on, and now this is my 10 by 7 inch rectangle that I need to put the score line down the middle of. And now you've got to this point, it's exactly the same as it was in part 1 of this video. Go into shapes and choose a score line. Make it the same height as the card, so mine is 7 inches. Press select all, and then align, center. And now that score line's exactly in the middle, but we need to do the one last step, which is to attach the score line. Down the bottom of the layers panel, press attach. Let's turn the rest of the card back on, so I'll click the little eye icon, but we can't see it now because this is appearing underneath the card blank. So drag and drop it in the layers panel to put it back on top. We've moved the position of the base card a little bit so this isn't lining up, which means if you were to try and resize the whole thing, it wouldn't quite be as easy as you might like it to be. So to get it back into position, press select all, and then align, align top, align, align right. And now that's exactly positioned on top of that base card. You can't see the score line now because the front of the card is covering it, but don't worry, it is still there. One last thing to do before you do any resizing is to group these again. So with everything selected, press group, and now you can resize the card to whatever you want it to be, and everything will resize together and stay in proportion. I hope this video on how to add score lines to greetings cards in Design Space was helpful. If it was, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut card making tutorials. Thank you for watching. Bye!